Hello there. Yeah, it's me in an echoey apartment looking dead. Yeah, I'm actually currently sick, so that is partially why I look this disheveled. Um, I'm fine. I should be clear. I'm fine. I'm not like severely ill or anything like that. I'm just coming down with a bit of a cold and a fever. But today was the day where I moved out of this apartment. I have been living in this apartment since June 1st, 2018, and obviously most of my filmed content on this channel has been shot here. Um, Not from this angle, not with this horrible, like sunlight as the only proper light source. But still, it has been my home for the past 3.5 years. And, well, today it's not anymore. So I figured I would just do this little, almost like post mortem vlog about this place. And also talk about where my life is at the moment because there's been some things that's been going on, as I'm sure anyone who follows me in any capacity is well aware of. So let's start with just the basics. I am presently homeless. And the reason for this is because this apartment is a student apartment. And I'm not a student, not at the moment. And neither is my ex-girlfriend, who I've been living with. And she's moving to another town, continuing her journey. And as a result, we have to leave this apartment. And I don't currently have a new home. I am looking for one, and I'm staying temporarily with a couple of friends. And it's all just fine there in that regard. Like, for now, I have a place to sleep, and all my stuff is locked away in the storage as I'm trying to find some new place to call home. And I'm sure I'll get there, but still, it is odd not actually having, a home after having called this place home for so long. There's also other things that's been going down. So I turned 30 a few months ago, and turning 30, while a milestone, of course, another decade to my life, it also came with the sudden cutback of my only source of income. Now, I live in Sweden. In Sweden, there are various kinds of, financial benefits, welfare, medical support, things like that. And the particular thing that I had for my physical and mental condition, the financial support I got from that actually cuts off at age 30. You can't get it anymore after that. At that point, you are apparently supposed to just have become healthy. And as a result, I lost my only stable source of income. And that's not great. Now, very, very wonderfully kind people were quick to help me out with, getting immediate funds for my medication. My Patreon exploded with support, which I'm so incredibly thankful for. And I truly love everyone who has come out to help me in this current rough time as I'm trying to find a job or some other form of being able to continue getting a medical financial support check at least. And I'm working on that, alongside the apartment thing. I'm working my hardest to try and, sort my life out. But the support I have thankfully gotten have been tremendous, and I'm overjoyed that people have actually come out to help me, because I've I've met and talked to a lot of people online over the years, and I've made a lot of connections over the years, but it's hard to gauge just what people think of you as a person, even if you spent like years together online talking and interacting and all these things. You never quite know, you know, how much someone, like, at least I don't. I struggle with that a lot. I'm very bad at reading people emotionally and things like that. I guess I can actually blame that on something I'll be talking about in a bit, which is my previously undiagnosed autism. But so seeing people actually come out and help has been wonderful. You can see one of my cats there. Has been wonderful, and I know I'm repeating myself, but I don't know what else to say. I'm just so happy with that. Like, my Patreon went from $19 a month to $244 a month. That's enough for me to actually afford my medical expenses, my phone bill, travel costs, food. Like, it wouldn't be enough to also pay rent if I had to pay rent, but still, it is, a good chunk of the way. And I really hope that I can keep creating things that people enjoy, stream things, write things, all these things. It's been tough. It's been pretty uneven lately. This whole situation has been partially why, but I'm hoping to make more progress on that. I have some pretty cool things coming, actually, but we'll see how that goes. So that's the immediate situation that's coming on now, with me being homeless and being without an income. If things go as I really want them to go, I will be getting some help to get back on my feet now, and then I'm gonna start my studies back up, and then eventually I will be a student. And I'm intending to continue my studies from a decade ago now, really. The things that I put off for my transition, and that's a transition into talking about my transition. So last year I got my legal gender marker changed. I'm now legally a woman, which is cool. Feel good about that. And sadly, not much has happened since then. For those who are not aware, I am someone who wants to go through with the GRS, or bottom surgery as it's called. And I've been put on some kind of waiting list for that, but no progress has been made on it. I have changed my HRT from what I've had for the past 4 years to another kind of HRT now. I'm gonna see how that affects me. You can't really tell right now, but I actually I have boobs now. Like, I don't need padding to have boobs now, which is pretty cool. I look terrible right now because I don't have any makeup on, and I'm sick, and sunlight, and I haven't slept. I don't know if you can tell. I look god awful. But that's where my transition is at the moment. And I'm hoping that gets moved on, so I can actually be done with, all the formal and medical things, and just move on with my life. What else? Oh yeah, so there's also been developments in regards to my health in general. Now, I've been wondering for a while if I have ADHD or autism, because of a variety of reasons over the years. I know a lot of people on the spectrum who have told me that, like, hey, you should probably like get this checked out because a lot of these things that apply to us seem to apply to you. And I was actually supposed to go through a it's not called investigation. What is the actual word for it? A medical. Well, I was supposed to go to the doctor for it, and I had a time and everything, but that time was like really bad. It was like clashing with something, or I was sick, so I called them up and asked for a later time, and they said they were gonna get back to me with a later time, and then they just never did. And I am like terribly afraid of phone calls, so I never got around to it myself. But last year, I actually did finally go through and had it confirmed that I suffer from ADHD and I suffer from mild autism. I don't know if that's the actual formal term for it because I only know the Swedish terminology, but it's how I've referred to it myself. So I like my neurodivergent traits have been more defined and diagnosed now. I also found out that one of the reasons why I'm in such a bad physical state all the time, I keep getting sick and I keep having like various deficiencies, is because I have some form of chronic anemia. And I'm now on medication for that as well, but that was something that really put a lot of things into perspective, because one of the things I struggle a lot with is that no matter what I do to myself in terms of like trying to be healthy, trying to take care of my body, it just keeps deteriorating. It keeps on getting worse. The absolute worst part of all of this is actually my teeth. One of the reasons I don't like appearing on camera anymore is because of my teeth. Because my teeth have completely like rotten. Like, they have shriveled up, they're rotten, they're crumbled apart, they're ugly. Like, I don't even want to show it for context, though I'm sure if you try and look, they show up every so often in my videos. And I can't afford getting them fixed because it's super expensive getting dental health care. And even though I have, in Sweden, the way medical health care works is that if you pay a certain amount of costs in medical expenses, if you pay a certain amount of medical expenses within a year, you get on what's called the high cost card. It used to be an actual card you have, but it's not anymore. Which means that you get either a strong discount on all medical costs, or they get completely written off. Which is, so effectively you get free healthcare from that point onward. If you pay a certain amount in a year, Sweden goes, okay, you've paid enough, free healthcare until that year has concluded. Dental healthcare is not included in that. So on top of my regular medical expenses, I would also have to pay dental healthcare at full price, and I just can't afford it. Now, I am looking into some kind of arrangement to fix this, but learning about my anemia and how that can contribute to why my teeth are in such bad shape, regardless of what I do. Like, I tried to go off sugar, I tried to go off soda and caffeine and all these things to like make them stop crumbling, and it just didn't work. They just kept dying on me. And I would brush, I would floss, I would, use mouthwash, I would do all these things. I have done what I can to take care of my teeth, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. And now I know why. So, it's rough, but it's at least it makes sense now. And I'm getting help with it. So that's good. But a lot of these things really just come down to, I really wish I'd known this, 10 years ago. Because a lot of things could have been different. My situation could have been very different. But it's not. It's like this now. So, yeah, I guess I should get talking about last week. So I did 2 videos on this already, but I want to talk about it in depth. So this is where I have to put a bit of a content warning for suicide attempt, and I also want to put a content warning for self-harm and mental hospitals. Is that the actual term anymore? I don't know if that's actually the term used anymore. Um, that was my cat. A week and a half ago, Sunday, I came back home from having visited my family and some friends in my old hometown for the first time in over 2 years because of the pandemic, making it impossible for me to see them until now. And I had a great time there. Like, my old hometown doesn't feel like home anymore, but I had a great time there. Like, I really enjoyed seeing my mother, my grandma, my brothers, and of course my friends as well. It was wonderful. I'm heading there again soon. But Monday, the day after, total shit day. Absolute god awful, horrible day. Everything went wrong. Everything just felt too overwhelming and heavy, and I just felt so awful and sick. And I thought, at least I get to go and see friends and hang out at our Monday meetings, which we have every Monday at this school. We go there and play board games in the evenings, long after the people who go to the school have left. And we go there in the evening, and I'm ready to have a good evening and forget about what a bad day I've had. And it turns out there's been a contract dispute regarding the school and us, so we don't get to be there. We get locked out. And I guess I didn't mention this, but if you don't know, I have social anxiety. I have pretty bad social anxiety, among other things. And one of the ways this manifests is that I feel left out. I feel very easily left out, abandoned, like I don't belong anywhere. And when we couldn't even go there and have, a good time playing board games, talk about anime or whatever, people started gathering up in groups outside the school, talking about maybe going to like McDonald's or Burger King and like just hang out as a group of friends. And I began feeling left out. Now, I wasn't left out. Like, I'm not trying to suggest that these people did anything bad. I didn't. I wasn't feeling left out because of my own anxiety. And it really, really overwhelmed me. I felt like shit. And mixed with just the big whiplash effect of having come home from this pretty good experience and feeling like maybe things would work out after all and just hit this brick wall instantly, it became overwhelming and I felt suicidal. And I wrote out a pretty short farewell on my private Twitter account to, the people who can see that. And I headed home with the intention of taking my life. And I waited. So I waited 2 hours, just sort of walking around, taking in the fresh air, thinking about it, wondering if maybe I should call the emergency hotline and talk to them like I've done before. Or that I also failed to do before because the emergency hotline is really bad. That's a completely different conversation. And eventually I was just like, no, I'm gonna do this. And I went home, I tapped up the bathtub with water, and I intended to drown myself. And yes, cat, it's very sad. And I did attempt to drown wow. You have no respect, huh? I did attempt to drown myself. And I failed, of course. I ended up just sort of laying on the bathroom floor coughing up water for a while. And then I felt cold and I felt ashamed and bad and failed and awful because I couldn't even take my life. And I just sort of curled up in bed to warm up. And eventually my ex-girlfriend Clara, who I've been living with, and I should say I keep saying ex-girlfriend. She was my girlfriend at the time. We broke up this week. And we didn't break up because of any argument or that we're not friends or anything like that. We simply decided that since we are, splitting up now and heading in different directions, at least for now, we want to, put a break on the relationship, if nothing else, until we're both back on our feet and know where we want to be in the world. And then maybe we'll get back together, maybe we will just stay friends, and that's fine. I'm completely happy with that. But that's why I'm saying ex-girlfriend. But she came home and, we talked about it, and, she comforted me, and I fell asleep. I woke up. I confessed to what happened on my public Twitter, and I also explained that I'm fine now. I feel better. I'm not going to attempt to do it again. I actually feel like I got this. I had a very, very impulsive and awful moment last night, but I'm okay now. And I also had an appointment with my psychologist that morning. So I went to go see my psychologist. And I told her everything, as I do. And then I got to the point where I mentioned that I attempted to kill myself. At which point she says that she needs to also bring in the doctor that prescribes medications and such for me. I'm like, okay. And she comes in and she asks me to retell everything, and I'm like, okay. So I tell it again. And they tell me that, okay, well, we can't let you go back home because you have had a suicidal urge. You have tried to kill yourself, so we're not going to let you go home. We're going to put you into a mental institution. And I'm looking out the window because there's some kids playing with a skateboard, and it looks like they're about to make a lot of sound because they're bashing it against a street lamp. Okay, they stopped doing it. And I'm like, well, I don't want to go there. I feel much better now. I talked to you two about this because I felt better about it, and that I had, I wasn't going to do it again. I do feel much better. They didn't listen. They said that either I go there willingly, or they will. Yes, I know, it's awful. Either I go there willingly, or they will call the police, and the police will escort me there. So technically, they didn't give me an option. So I got committed to the mental health hospital. Meow, meow. And I hated it there. Yeah, they broke the skateboard. Yeah, why did you do that? Oh well. I hated it there. I made a video talking about this. I was there for 22 hours, which isn't long. It's less than a day. But 22 hours was enough to really just set my mental state into a constant paranoia, where I felt like there was always someone watching me, always someone about to step in and check on me to make sure I wasn't doing something I wasn't allowed to do. And it still persists now. It's not as bad now, thankfully. Wow! But still, it was horrible. And oh, yeah, come here. This is Dash. She's the cat that normally doesn't show up on camera. Yeah. Now she's hiding. She realized I'm filming. But yeah. A week later, I actually had another appointment, and I talked to my psychiatrist again. I made it pretty clear that I did not do better by being put in there. In fact, the head doctor at the hospital agreed with me that I shouldn't have been put in there. Didn't even get an apology, so that's fun. But yeah, that happened. It was awful, and I felt I needed to address it, not just in the pretty sudden and kind of impulsive videos that I made that week. Because obviously that's like the weight of this sudden homelessness and the lack of my finances, the lack of an income has been part of what's been weighing me down this way. And I felt I needed to address it one more time. I do want to mention, in regards to self-harming, though, that I haven't actually self-harmed for 2 weeks. I'm not going to get into how I self-harm when I do it, because that can be triggering for people to hear. But I actually stopped self-harming before my suicide attempt, and I haven't done it since either, so that's good. I think that's good, at least. By the way, in case you were wondering, the cats, Diach and Lily, they're named after Nanoha characters. They will be living with my ex-girlfriend in her new apartment. But they haven't gone there yet because we've only just started moving things today. I'm actually done moving my things. All the things you see here is her things, but I'm taking care of the cats right now. Well, not right now because I'm shooting this. I'm taking care of the cats right now while she's off setting things up. So that's why they're here, trying to find her. They're always like this when one of us isn't home. It's gonna be interesting to see how they take to the new apartment, actually. But yeah, so that's that part covered as well. Is there anything else I would like to talk about before finishing this video off? I'm getting better. I'm fine. I will get through this. I have plans. I have support. I will get through this. And thank you everyone who have worried. I'm not gonna say, oh, please don't worry about me, because I am still in a rough spot, and I do appreciate the worry. But I guess I'm just trying to promise you that I will get through this, and also promise myself that I will. Because despite all the shit I'm being put through, from my physical health, from my mental health, through my finances, through my unstable home situation, uncertain. No, I can't think of the right adjective there. But I am going to get through it, and thank you so much for being with me as I push through. One good thing about the place I'm staying at, the 2 friends I'm staying with, is that I probably will be able to work on videos and stream get from their apartment without issue. So that should be good. I should be able to keep making things, which is nice. Looking forward to that. Speaking of things that I'm making, if you have enjoyed my little VTuber test streams that I've been doing with the Metroid games, there's actually a channel I'll be devoting all my VTubing things at. It's called Prince Reventon, and if you go to the Twitter account Prince_Reventon, there's a link to the YouTube channel there, also to a Twitch channel. I haven't decided which I will be primarily stream on just yet. I'll be testing things out there, but that's where my VTubing things will go after these. But after this particular Metroid Samus Return streams are done. So if you were wondering about that, that's where that will go. I will probably still do the rest of the Puyo Puyo games on this channel without the VTuber avatar, but I haven't decided yet. I have an idea for something special for Halloween. I don't know if I'll be able to pull it off in time. We'll see. But I'm hoping I will. And yeah, I have ideas. I have plans. And if you do want to support me, if you want to help me out, by no means is financial support something I believe anyone should feel required to give. But I do have a Patreon, I do have a Ko-fi, and all the help I can get is appreciated. So if you want to help out, that's how you do that. And it's patreon.com or coffee.com/AndreaRitsu, one word. And yeah, I really appreciate it. Signing off videos like this is always tricky. That's why I prefer having scripted things most of the time. Oh, one more thing. Star Trek videos. I have 3 episodes for Lower Decks I didn't do reviews for. I haven't decided what I'm going to do about those yet, because I do want to review Star Trek Prodigy, which starts next week. But I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do yet. I'm going to figure something out about that, and we'll see what exactly happens. But until then, just know that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I think that'll be the end of the video and the end of this apartment. This echoey, big, very big actually. You know, it's a nice apartment. Never let it be said that it wasn't. It's been a wonderful time living here. I really like this apartment. I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss it a lot. Hell, I'll miss living with Clara. I'm very happy for her, and I hope that things go well for her, and we'll still hang out, so, you know, that's all well and good, but I'm gonna miss her. I'm gonna miss my cats. Or our cats. I think I did a vlog when I moved in here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. Facing that wall. But sort of sitting in the same position. Yeah. You want to say goodbye, Kitty? No. You want to sleep in your chair. You can't really see it, but there's a pink chair right here behind the bag. One of the cats is sleeping in that. It's a little princess bed, actually, for dogs or cats. They love it. The other one is curled up on the inflatable mattress that's in the bedroom now because the bed has been taken out. But yeah. Bye.